everybody, it's Geordie Shrimp, and today we are starting this episode on the launch pad with the launch going straight away because we are sending up a little fueler to our Kerbin International Space Station that we sent up there in last episode. So, and I figured I'd just get it all built and get ready to start going there right away. So we will be talking about rendezvousing, showing how to rendezvous, and also then hopefully in the end of the episode or whenever we get this done, we can start preparing for our orbit around the moon. So this is just a basic, you can't really see under it, but it's just some fuel tanks with a little bit more crew storage, and then obviously boosters to get straight up. I should probably turn this mode on so I can see. We need to go more 90 degrees. This is just over 1 thrust to rate ratio, so we should have no problems making it with this. I'm actually going to lower my throttle way down. Not enough, so this is going down though. This needs to be going up. And where is our space station? Because that determines whether we are going above it, so it is ahead of us. So we are going to go above it, so it can meet up with us. So we're going to be, it's here, we're going to be behind it, so we're going to go up, so we're going slower, and then we can meet up with it after. Bye! Hopefully we've got enough Delta V actually to get into orbit. Probably should have tested the rocket before recording. Yeah, it seems like it's gonna do alright though. It's just getting that Delta V, that periapsis to even out before the apoapsis reaches, which doesn't look like it's gonna happen, to be honest, so this might be a little sketchy. Doesn't look like we're gonna get it. Okay, I will be back with a better design. Oh no, not a great start. Okay, so we did a little bit differently. We just added normal fuel tanks and boosters and did the asparagus station, but we didn't have enough fuel, so we have had to drain this entire fuel tank. So I'm hoping that this still will complete or have 4,000 units of liquid fuel, because yeah, we still haven't got that done, and if not, we are going to have to refuel again. But having more fuel up there means we will have to, it'll be less of a big ship, it'll be a lot easier to get up there. And the main issue is we're sending Rockomax stuff up there in these really big heavy ships without the heavy propulsion research, so we do need to do the orbit around the moon. Get ourselves some more science. And there we are in orbit. So now we can get started with the rendezvousing. Now, it's a little confusing and honestly a little tricky to like dock and whatnot, so I wouldn't stress too hard if you can't do it the first try, and I wouldn't also take this as a tutorial at all. I'm awful at getting this maneuver, but I'm alright at docking, but the maneuver, if you want good videos, go watch my Gaben. But we are going to set this as our target, and as you can see, it is ahead of us, so we do actually need to go a little bit higher, so we are going to go past it, and we are actually going to do the maneuver here where this periapsis is, and then we will go above. And we need to pay attention as well to these ascending and descending nodes. As you can see, it says 0.5. That means we are on an angle, like diagonal compared to this, of 0.5. And that's because we did not get that quite perfect 90-degree orbit. But we can easily fix that. So we just need to come above it a little bit. come above it a little bit more because it is quite far away. And we will just skip to that maneuver, and because we are behind it, so when we are going above, it is now going to be going faster because we are in a wider orbit. The wider orbit you are, the less speed you have. So we will time warp a little bit, and then this ship will start catching up with us until we can eventually meet up together and then do the dock. There we are. And now we should be slightly above this. And we do also, when we get to this apoapsis, need to meet this periapsis, and hopefully that second meeting should do. There we are. Second meeting is gone, and we've actually gone a little bit above. So we can just scooch us down. And then we will do that burn when we get there. Okay, so we've got a pretty close meeting there. We went a little bit past, but it's really not too far past. So now we are, if you pay attention to these ascending and descending nodes, we are going to try and kind of, well, actually it'll be easier if we do it from here. So if we time warp, we can see that these orange markers are going to start getting closer. There we are, and the next time they meet up, they might be too close, so there we go, one more time. Okay, so we've got that, and if we come here and we just, no, it's not working. You see what I mean? I'm not too great at the whole, there we are. So if we get this as close as possible, and as we can see, we are going to be, we need to fix the ascending descending nodes actually. So if we just pull on these a little bit, we can hopefully, okay, so it looks like we're not going to actually fix it much more than that. And then if we, okay, so that's screwed up our meeting a little bit. Let's get as close as we possibly can. We were actually getting closer when this was lower. I don't know how, but we can fine tune it a little bit more when we actually get to the maneuver. Okay, so we are 1.2, we're going to be 1.2 kilometers away, but we are going to be going 101.9 meters a second, faster or slower, which is just way too quick. So when we get a little bit closer, we are going to need to change that. And that is, it's much easier done the closer you are. Something else I'm doing here as well, because this is a 14.2 meter burn, as you can see with the throttle all the way up, it's going to be a 2-second burn, which is very short. So I'm lowering the thrust here, and as you can see the time is now going up. I'm going to put it at about there. Put it at 24. And now it's gone to a 9-second burn rather than 2 seconds. Just a little tip. And as you can see here as well, we've got these new purple nodes. Those are our target. This one is like facing away from our target, and the one on the other side is facing towards. So our target is behind us. So when it comes to meeting up with our target, we are going to have to boost towards it when we are slowing down. And there is the other maneuver. That is the one pointing towards our craft. As we can see, because we are trying to slow down and meet towards it, we are now retrograde but pointing towards our craft, which is off in that direction. Okay, so there we are, 1.2 kilometers with 100 relative meters speed. So what we are going to do is switch this onto target, and we need to get this prograde to be in this forward maneuver. So an easy way to do that is if we spin around, which is quite hard because we are very large. So I might just put on RCS, watch our monopropellant because we need that to dock, and also watch this because it is changing things. So if we just boost, we can push this prograde towards, well, we will come closer first. Yeah, now it's gone much further away. So it's probably the easiest way to do it, is if you just keep trying to get this prograde into here and getting the speed down, because we don't want to go flying into it. So we just turn off RCS now and we can do little boosts here. We can actually put our thrust back up. You can see there the speed's going down, and it's not really changing too much, the distance between meeting. So there we are, we're getting much better things there, 1.5 and 30 meters relative speed. So we just got to keep trying to get this in there. There we are. And then we will go lock onto this retrograde. And then warp a little bit closer and just keep tweaking it until we are at least a kilometer with only 10 meters a second of speed, and we can slow down pretty much all with our monopropellant from there. So we're just going to bring the prograde vector into there, and now the meeting is a lot closer. Not sure why my rocket is moving on its own. Where are you going? Dude. Okay, 0.7 kilometers, and now we will get back on the retrograde. Actually, we can probably stick on to the... Yeah, what I'm gonna do is transfer all of this fuel back into here, and then we are going to eject that. And we've got our little escape pod I've attached on the bottom there as well, ready for us to leave with our curls. Okay, so now we are going to use our docking mode. This works for RCS, so we are going to click R, and we are linear, so we are turning, but not, we are, well, moving left, right, up, down, not turning. And we just want to lower the speed. We can actually see the space station now. That is it over there, but we are still trying to figure out how we are going to get closer. Okay, we're getting very, very good here. It took a little while. I kept messing it up, but we are now in 0 kilometers actually, and just trying to get ever so slower. Okay, there we are. So if we just turn off RCS now, and then we can see there is the Kerbin International Space Station, otherwise known as the K.I.S.S. And we will just warp till we're a little bit closer. And where do we want to connect this actually? Because I was kind of thinking on one of those, but we could just make it more long. Nah, we'll connect it on the side. So we're going to set this docking port as our target now, and we are going to put RCS back on. and we are going to line it up from here. Okay. Gonna make sure we're the right direction as well. And I really need to watch my monopropellant. It is about to run out. Why? Why did it do that? Okay, now we will just coast until we are much closer. We need to change this to control from here. I'm going to put the aim camera as well on this. Let's just make sure we keep the line up. Oh god. Okay, so this is where we're gonna want to like try and be in the same line as this while we meet up with it. So if we go here, and then we can also make it a little bit easier, control from here, make this our target, and then point towards this, and then we can switch back to this and RCS on, and we should start meeting up with it. As you see there, we're coming close to it. This is aligned nicely, and just go a little bit quicker. Slow it on down. And connect. It should suck together, and it's there. We are, and now we have our little extension here, and we can control from here again. Take this off and point it on the prograde vector. Nice one. So we can now. Have we got enough? Yeah, we have enough fuel. So how much did we actually have? Did we? Oh, we made it by 900. So that was lucky. So we actually have to put some fuel back into this because I had to take some. There we are. That should do. And then we want to transfer these dudes into here. Make sure everybody's in the main part of the station. Or then we are going to bring Jeb and Bill home. Jeb, I put you in the wrong one. You meant to go in there. No, wait, no you're not, no you're not. You're meant to go in there. Bill, you come too. There we go. And I think that should be everything. I don't think we need to do much else. I didn't add any extra solar panels on this. I probably should have. I did bring more batteries though. And oh yes, we've got little antennas in here so we can extend these. And then oh, we completely ran out of monopropellant. Oh god. Not good. So we've got to make sure on our next visit up here we do bring some monopropellant with us. And you're actually the wrong way, can I? No, it's just making the whole thing move. Okay, so we will get these boys home and we will prepare for our mission to orbit the moon. And plonk. And we actually managed to just bring back as little ball. I think they're great, well, as the safe re-entry models. So we now have our two main guys back home, and we can build ourselves a craft to orbit the moon. Okay, so I just grabbed our Moonobust 1 rocket from the flyby, added a larger fuel tank here, and added extra fuel tanks on here, but other than that, it is exactly the same because I believe it should have no problem working. It did last time, so it should this time. Okay, so I've got our maneuvers set up. If you remember, you just go a 6 of the way there, and then you adjust the time and whatnot until you get as close as you want. In this case, we are going to a 40 kilometer, but then we're changing it to this, which is a 40-37. Which is not bad. I mean, not great, but not bad. The only thing I do worry about, this is just my mid-course correction, that is to get the inclination from being like that to straight around. It's much cheaper to do it out there, and it also doesn't really, you can do it like from here to here. It doesn't really matter when you do this. There's a lot of leeway for that maneuver. So we only have 1420 delta V, so I'm not actually too sure on if we've got enough fuel to get there. But well, we've definitely got enough fuel to get there. It's going to cost us 800 to get into a maneuver, to get into a flyby, and then it's just the delta V on the next 2 maneuvers. So we will just get towards the moon now. Well, towards our maneuver, not the moon. I forgot SAS, so it was being a little bit tricky, but we're here, we're docking. We are going to use the space station for its intended purpose, which I don't think I've ever actually really used the space station for. I mean, that's the whole purpose to have one, really, is for refueling. But I never use it for that, so we're just going to take out with this. Nice and full. Okay, so we're ready to undock. So it's just us 3 again, and now we can set our trajectory for the moon. So when we're coming in on our normal maneuver, it's expecting us to do that, but if we just come anywhere out here, we add a maneuver, and we just play with the pink ones, we can even it out, and that is what is called a mid-course correction, because we are doing it midway through the course. Jesus Christ. So I think if we go on this path and we don't change anything, we're gonna go around the moon. We are going to go around all the way here, like thousands of kilometers, millions of kilometers past Minmus, and then come back to the moon. So by the time it's going to take 6 days to do that. That's pretty crazy. And fire. Bye. Oh, imagine if we had a hit. I didn't even pay attention to that. I mean, all that hard work down the drain, 'cause it's not like we can revert back to the space station flight now. We'd have to, all those Kerbals would die and we'd have to rebuild a new one. I think next episode as well, oh wait, no. After this, we should have landing on the moon, and then the episode after, next episode, I want to go to Minmus. It should be a mission for us to do anyways, but if it's not, I want to go regardless. There we are. And then we will just skip to our correction burn. Eclipse! Look at that, that's so cool. So, yeah, it's with the moon as well. That's awesome. There we are. And we are at 48. We can just squidge this down until we are in a decent orbit. There we are, 48, 48. 48, 692, 48, 660. That's actually really close. So we will start heading towards that burn. And that's the end of the eclipse. I'm back to blinding because we are blinded by the lights. And we want to go on to retrograde, and this is as close as this. We've never been this close to the moon before. Well, in this series, anyways. There we are, and we are now officially in orbit around the moon. So it also wants us to go on an orbital spacewalk around the moon. So we are going to get Bob out here, and he's going to do there we go. An EVA around the moon, and we got a world's first milestone. So we got 15,000 for that. Oh, we also got one for orbiting around the moon, and we've got ones for doing all sorts of things. So did I bring any EVA signs? I bet you I didn't. Oh man. Okay, it's okay. It gives us a goal for next time. We are going to be doing a landing after all, but remind me to bring EVA signs. But we are going to do an EVA report. Come down here, might as well do these by hand. Conduct material study, collect the data and restore. And then do a mystery go. And a temperature. Take that, restore, why not? And a barometer. I love that message. The instrument reads 0. It's as if we're in a vacuum. Yeah, I know, it's crazy. It's almost as if we're in space. And then, we need to do a crew report as well. Did I do an EV report? I did. We need to do a crew report. And there we are. That is our orbit around the moon contract complete with lots more signs, so we can now start making our return to Kerbin. So we're just gonna go here and hopefully so if we put it there, we can kind of shrink this down, but we need to make sure we're in the 500. Okay. I'm gonna go right on 70,000 just in case that 200 meters a second is not enough to get us back. So there we go, that's a pretty good return orbit. We've just got to wait until we are at it. We can look at the moon. Wow, it's amazing up close. Hold on, thumbnail. Okay, we got our thumbnail. Let's get Bob back inside. When we are endangering Kerbin's lives for photos. And go. Let's just skip time forward and then watch the moon disappear with its giant holes in it and what looks like handprints. Clearly it got molested by a giant alien at some point in its... Where's Kerbin? There it is, I was going to say Jesus Christ. All the way to in the atmosphere. There we go. We are going to retrograde. Yeah, I'm just going to eject those. Bye. And then I'm just gonna wait until we're a little bit further down actually, and just hammer this. There we go. That's a pretty cool photo. And there we are, just lock onto retrograde and we should be good from there. The heat's starting to go down. And we can force ourselves into the ocean a little bit. There we are. I just want to retrograde from here. Maybe wondering what this bar is as well. Well, you might probably not wondering because it says it in it, but that is for G-force. It doesn't affect us in the mode we're in, but we can change it to where G-force actually affects us. And we will slowly descend to the water. Do our very miserable 5-minute long descent. These things actually got so hot they are still glowing. That is crazy. And Spladong. They're not going to instantly cool in the water. Oh well. Let's see if we can do any extra science in the water. Bob, get out. And take a surface sample. Hey, from Kerbin's water, you've taken a sample of the water. It appears to dramatically increase the surface humidity of. I love these little messages, honestly. Sometimes they're so cocky. It's great. And I do another aviator pump, might as well. And get back in and recover. And that is us officially back from orbit of the moon. And then next episode, well, we should hopefully have the contract now to land on the moon. So we'll just take a quick look at that and see how much science we brought back as well. Nice, 248.5 science earned. And that's those material studies, honestly, they give so much science. And we got snagged ourselves lots of munsies. And we can check in here and we can say we now have land on the moon. So we are going to accept that contract. And we also have one build an orbital station around the moon. I think I'm going to accept that too. And we will do that in a future episode. Let's see if we can quickly spend our science on anything important here. Okay, so I'm going to go for these two, the advanced landing and the command modules, and then in the next episode I hopefully want to get this mobile processing lab, because what that does is when we do science we can put our science in the mobile processing lab, and over time it will research into its own science, so we can redo experiments, put them in it, and then make ourselves a lot of science. But for now, this has been Geordie Shrimp. I hope you've all enjoyed watching. I've had a blast playing, and we did quite a bit in this episode. We managed to refuel our space station, we did a rendezvous with our space station, and we returned to Kerbin from orbit of the moon. But anyways, so like I said, I hope you all enjoyed watching. If you wouldn't mind, leave a like if you enjoyed this video, and I will see you in the next one.